Can you see my screen? Give me one thumbs up telling that you can see my screen. Perfect. Okay. Today I will not discuss a new material. As I said in the last lecture, I will solve the assignment, and maybe we will have a group work, more group work exercise, and I want to discuss the assignment solution with you. Moreover, the deadline was 2 days ago, so yesterday I started double checking your assignment solution. For all of the students that are going later to hear this or to watch this video and hear what I'm saying now, I'm still seeing that there are many students, they are copy-paste from the internet. So whatever the assignment, I can create a new assignment, or whether you can go ahead online and see that there are some similar solutions. I was shocked still there are some students copy-paste without understanding what's taking place. Okay, I can accept to copy-paste. However, for example, I asked some student, they will get a Java code and put it as a solution. I was shocked. So this student who has done this, now this student doesn't know what is the difference between C++ and Java code, just copying, or what he expects the instructor. He doesn't know anything about coding, about the course he's teaching. There are 3 to 4 solutions. Student put another programming language rather than C++. They have to put C code or Java code because they just go ahead online and copy this one and then put it as an assignment. Then why I'm saying this, it is not because talking about the grade. However, what you are doing, it's not good for you. This is a very basic introductory programming course, and we are giving it online. I'm very excited that next semester, most of my courses will be at a campus, because I don't believe that the efficiency and the effectiveness of online courses comparing to having courses in class in the university. However, it doesn't mean that having an online course is not to be a serious student. I'm doing my best to give this online courses in a way to be more interactive. And I always said I'm happy who can't join the live session. I'm happy to see him in the virtual office. And the virtual office, I made a time slot that is somehow late afternoon. So I think it till 5:30, which means that some people that they have something to do at work, they can still join this virtual office. However, this is, please, I don't want for the next assignment street to see something like this. Write your own code, even though it will not be correct. I will give you a better grade than having a copy-paste code from the internet. Some people, they have to copy and paste the code, even though without changing the command that the code owner he has already written, which means that, or using some include, or using the same abbreviation or the same name of the variables used. So you can go online and check the code how it is written and rewrite the code using your own syntax. You are here to benefit from this course. So OCIS student or computer science student or who is going to make a diploma, if they don't make an effort how to practice a new programming course, especially this code, they will never learn how to code. So to be honest, if you don't know how to code, so whatever courses you take it, whatever diploma or certificate you take it, you will never have a good job. So really, I'm telling you this because I'm dealing with you as your coach, not only as your instructor. Don't do it. If you go to online, go ahead and see the code and rewrite the code using your own syntax. You need to practice this. And me, when I have all the assignment, I will go one question this is why sometimes correcting the assignment will take so much time from me, because I have to go by each assignment and double check the code for each one of you. And it is not an easy job, it takes time. If you have a 35 students in the class, so each one has to have three different codes. So you can imagine how many code I have to double check. And you can find this in the grade. So whenever I can see that a person had already annotated the same code that is online without rewriting the code using his own syntax, he will get 0 for this question. So take care for this. So the next time, I will be very happy to see a code for one of you, and this code is not working correctly. Yeah, it's not working correctly. However, I can feel the effort that you have already done in this code. So if you have two choices other than delivering a solution incomplete or incorrect, and you have a solution copy paste from online, go ahead and deliver the incomplete one. You will get a good grade, because for me, I can feel that you made a special effort that I have to appreciate it. However, copy paste the code as it is from online, you will get 0 grade. So this is the last time I have to tell about this. Another point I have to talk about assignment. When I publish an assignment, I give minimum 1 week. So one day before the deadline, I will receive tens of emails about students telling me about the extension and about the extension for special cases. Each one will have his own story. Okay, I believe that most of us will have sometimes some emergency cases during the weeks, health issue, family issue, work issue. But if it is an exam, you have a special day for this. I can understand that this day you can do it. Having 1 week and you can do it, I don't believe that you have. I don't believe you are so transparent in this case. There are some cases, especially for the international student at the beginning of the semester who has to travel from outside Canada to Canada. I can understand that maybe they need sometimes after landing and do different stuff. This I can totally understand. However, for people that they have been here for a long time or domestic student, I don't believe that having a 1 week you can do it. So take it seriously, the assignment, because each assignment, it is 10% of the overall grade. I didn't choose to have a midterm to help you, because I believe that having a 1 week to practice an assignment better than giving you 4 to 5 hours at a midterm and had an impact as a 3 assignment. For example, if you have a midterm, almost this midterm will be 30%. So as if it is like 3 assignment. So, but because it is online, asynchronous course, so I believe that having assignment doing at home and take your time till you get a solution, and then I give you evaluation based on your own understanding and the way if you have already practiced this assignment, it's better than having a midterm for 3 or 4 weeks, because I'm not here to give you a grade. I'm here to help you in this introductory course to have a ABC of the ABCD, which means the first alphabet in programming. So this 2 point I have to talk about assignment to people that is going later to watch this video before I'll start with this exercises. The last point about the project, you should expect from me during this week or the beginning of next week having different groups. These groups, you will have a project. According to the calendar of the university, the last day on teaching would be in 10th of December. So 10th of December will be the deadline for the project deliverable. And I will set the whole guideline. So take care for the project, take it serious. The project is 30% for the whole grade. So project plus assignment will be 70%. So this is a point concerning also project. Okay, let's start today with the assignment solution to discuss it with you and to see if there is something, the solution we have to discuss it, to go ahead and discuss it with each other. And at the end of this, we will have a new group work to do it with each other in this case. So part 1. let's talk about true and false. So a function may return more than one item. People, I need a volunteer from here. So who will be my volunteer? Do you make marks off? We don't put comments in. Yeah, no worry. No need to put comment. It's better to put comment. Just I saw you now. Sorry, Carson. Now I saw your message. Do you? No, there is. It's better to you to write comments, because maybe if I can understand your code in a better way. However, it is not a must. So it's up to you. As a professional coder, you should add a comment. I'm telling about people that they imitate, or people they have to go to internet and copy the code. I can know that this code is not their code from the commands, because sometimes they have to copy paste a commands that done by others, and this comment will include some information about a program that this code is piece from a whole program. I don't know if you got my point. So even though they keep the command, so just for them an assignment, go online and copy code and go ahead and send it to this, and send it to the instructor. And this is very bad. Okay, so a function may return more than one item. Carson, you said false. Okay. I agree it is a false, because for us, for example, we said by the way, the function, I can't see that you are using a function during your code. So I said from the beginning, if there is a piece of code talking about the same concept, we have to put it a function and declare it outside the main method, and we have to call it in the main method. So yes. Again, in this case, yeah, so now when we declare a function with an integer function, we name it whatever it is, a function integer x, take parameter, the return a special type. So it should return one item, and we have to declare the type of the return when we have to do it with the function in this case. Okay, now the question said, another one, function naming rules follow variable naming rules. Function naming rules follow variable naming rules. False, true. True. So, Carson, I don't know. Yeah, okay. Before I go to the next, can anyone tell me why it is true? To discuss it, if anyone can use the mic and tell us why it is true. Carson or Kura, I don't know who would like to do it. Yeah, it is true, but who can tell me why it is true? In order that others can benefit from this discussion. Kura, do you have do you know why it is true? And Carson also, the variable have to match the function. Yeah, the variable has to match the function. Yeah, I agree. So, which means that when we talk about naming rules, we are talking about naming the function. So there are some rules we have already said when we talk about naming the variables. So the same rules that we have should apply in the naming of the variable also should be applicable for the naming of the function. So we are not talking about the argument of the function. We are talking about in general. When we talk about, there are some naming rules when we are going to name this function, how we are going to name it. So the same way we have to do it for the variable, we have also to do it for the function. Go ahead, Kelsey. Do you want to say something?
Is it because it's better to have like all your created stuff, like your functions and your variables, kind of like uniform? Like, is it kind of like just just like to keep them uniform so that your code seems like better, or not better, but like easier to read and easier to understand? It doesn't seem more disruptive if you have like different rules for stuff.
Yeah. The point that normally when you talk about first, we are not talking about the variable of the function. We are talking about variables in general when we are going to naming them. For example, we said that naming should contain letter. It can contain digit and it can contain underscore. We said that naming is somehow case sensitive. When you said my name, you write my name and you write it as uppercase. So if you use it my n is lowercase, in this case they are not the same variable. So what we're saying that when you give a name for a function, the same rules that you have to consider when you name a variable, they are the same rules. The rules of the naming variable in C++ is like a name. It can contain this variable can contain letters, can contain digit, cannot contain, for example, special character or spaces. This is some rules for the naming of variables. The same rules also apply for the function. You got it, Gerson?
Yeah, I gotcha.
Okay, perfect. So the type of parameter are optional in the function declaration, true, false. Now we are talking about the parameter, which means the argument of the function. No, we are not talking about parameter in general. We're talking that if you have a function and then we are going to declare different variables. So the types they are, okay, yes, false, because we have to declare the type. We have to declare the type if it is integer, it is integer, double, float, whatever it is. And also we have to tell if it is a pointer, which is we have to pass by reference, or it is a variable. Yes. So when we declare a function, and we have to differentiate between function declaration and function calling. So when we declare or we define a function, we should define a special type for this argument, the input variables. And when we are going later to call this function, we have to pass the same number of variables with the same type as we have already declared or defined when we define these functions. Perfect. The parameter names are mandatory in the function header. So the parameter names are mandatory. We said, okay, we should have a parameters. However, what about the name now? Is they are must to have the name? Let me say the function other way. So false. Yeah. So if, for example, let's take a function sum that take two variables and return the addition for them. I will said, for example, let's say it will take integer. I said integer sum. I have to declare. I can set it take int without saying int x, int y. So it is sufficient to say how many parameter needed, what is the type of this parameter. No need to give the name for this parameter because the name doesn't matter for us. It's just we are defining this variable. So it is false. We don't have to send the name. We just have to send the number of variables and the type of these variables in this case. Okay, now the question said, is it possible? It is possible to have a function that has no parameters. False, true. Which means that we can define. Yes, Viraj. Yes, Gerson. Yes, it's true. So it doesn't mean that we will have. It's up to us. So if this function, just when we call it, it will execute special statements and return a value, or maybe it doesn't return any values. It will return void in this case. So it doesn't mean that we always have an argument. Yes, so it is possible, true. Oops. It seems that I didn't this here. I shouldn't make it. Wait. The animation is not working here. Give me just 1 second. Okay, give me just 1 second to prepare the animation a better way because I don't know why it doesn't work here. Okay, so. But still. Okay, I will do something. In order not to waste time, so I will just make another slide, and then I will put the solution on the other slide. I think this is a faster way to do it. And later I will add it to. Okay. Let's do it like this, in order that we can practice. So now so the first one, the parameter list. There's the animation here, no need for this animation. Deleted it. Move. Whatever, even though the solution somehow we should discuss this. Okay, now we said that the parameter listed in the function declared are considered global variable. True, false? I need also to have a discussion based on this. False. Why, Viraj? You are correct, it's false. But why? It is local variable, perfect. Yeah, as Viraj said, so it is a local variable, which means that this global variable that we are sending to the function, they have the scope of the function. When we said, for example, sum x, y, x and y can be seen only in this function. If you are going to use this x and y out of this function, you'll get an error because they are not variable for this. They are a local variable, not a global variable. In a function with call by reference, any changes to the formal parameter will change the actual argument passed to the function. This is a good question to understand more what's mean by pointer. So now we are saying that true. Okay, Kerson, I agree. Can you tell us why it is true and declare and clarify it more for us?
Yeah, sure. So in a call by reference function, you're passing in the address to the variable. Okay. And when you dereference the address, you get to the actual value that's stored in that address, right? So if you change the value with the address, then like the actual variable in that address will change. If that makes sense, I don't know.
Yeah, this is 100%. I agree and correct. What Kerson said that since we are dealing with, yeah, Lisa, we will discuss it again. Number 6. Let's finish 7 now. As Kerson said, that when you are going to pass a variable and you create a function that take a pointer, which means that passing a reference to, according to the definition of a pointer, if I have a variable x and I have a pointer p, and p point to x, so the x has a special memory location allocated to x, and there is a value. So p will point to this memory location where the value d, let's suppose it's a value d, the value d that associated with x. So whenever this value in this location will be changed, so the value that is pointed to it will be changed, because the pointer is pointing to a special place. So whatever it is a value in this, whenever it's being changed, so the value is being changed, it will be changed, because the pointer will point to a special place in the memory location, whatever it is the data there. So as I said, this is the main definition of a pointer. Yeah, let's return to 6, because Lisa says so. Even though it's maybe declared outside of the main, it is a local variable. Viraj answered, if you declare it outside the main function, any other function, yes, yeah, 100% agree with Viraj. So if this global variable is going to be declared outside the function in the main method, so you can use it in any place in the main method, because it is now a global variable one, or outside also the main outside one. So which means that So if you declare it at the head of the file, so it can be used in any place. And if you declare it in the main method, it can be used in any place in the main method because it will be the scope where it's being declared. It's being declared within the function, that the scope it will be within the function. So yes, as Viraj said, in this case, it will be a global one. It is illegal to call other function from inside a function definition. So let's take an example. We have sum and we have add, two function. So the question said, if can we call add within the scope of function sum in this case? Yes, no. So is it true? Here it said it is illegal, which is we can't do it. Is it true or false? False. Yes, so it is legal. Yeah, I agree. Because the function as a function will be defined outside the main method. And when you call any function, you call it inside the main method. So inside the main method, since all the function will be declared outside the main method, so you can call different functions within the main method, either within another function or in the main method itself. So, and if it is illegal, in this case, we can't call any function because we're calling all function in the main method. So all functions are called within another function, which is the main method in this case. So if it is illegal, then we can't call any function in this case. Arrays can be passed to functions. True, false. So arrays can be passed to functions. Which means that when we declare a function, we can declare as an argument as an array. Yes, true, because we can do it. An array like a variable. So it is we can pass it, yes. The last one now in true false according to the assignment is array can be returned from a function. True, false. False, false, correct. Because when we are going to return, we said return integer. So we have to return a special value after executing this function. We can't return a block of values. So an array cannot be returned from this array. Yes, but however, we can pass it as an argument to a function. This is 100% correct. So this is the aim from this exercises. This exercise, I want to be sure that you understand the concept 100% concerning functions and arrays. To be honest, this course, we have discussed more than the scope of this course. When we talk about linked list and struct, somehow this course is talk only the basics of C++. I go more about when we talk about linked list and struct. However, I want to be sure that the basics that include about variable declaration and function declaration and function calling and array declaration, you can understand the concept 100% correctly way. Again, I want to advise you because I know what is having a first programming course in your life. Really, if you practice this course and you enjoy the concept 100%, this will affect your whole life with programming. And since all of you from the computer science, whatever it is, the major, whatever is the program, talking about computer science or information technology, so it is very important to understand the basics. If the basics it's very clear to you, you can go more advanced and more advanced. To be sure now, if you have any question, go ahead and read it online or ask me. That when you finish this course, you have the basis in a good manner, in a correct way, in order to build different knowledge in the upper level later during your study at the university. Okay, now we have multiple choice. This is what you have already. Now we have the multiple choice questions. So we will go, I think there are only 5 as we remember before we go to the exercises. The first question is using namespace std. Tell the compiler what it will tell the compiler. So it will tell the compiler where to get the definition of a certain object, where your program is located, what language to use for input output, or nothing. which one is the true solution? We all see using namespace std. So C, what language to use for input output? Okay, this is Kearson. Lisa also C. Viraj, A, I guess. Kura, A, I guess. Okay, I agree with Viraj and Kura. Why? First, using namespace std doesn't mean that it's talk about what is a language. Your compiler deal only with one language. It doesn't, for example, you don't have a compiler for C++ and Java. Each high-level language, this is what I said it from the first lecture when we talk about high-level and we talk about machine language, if you remember. And we said that this high-level language, each high-level language, it needs its own compiler. So a compiler, it is for a special high-level language. C++ has its own compiler. Java has its own compiler. C, it has its own compiler. For scripting language, we name it more interrupter. PHP, Python has their own interrupter. So if you are going to go ahead and use a special compiler to C++, your compiler expects a C++. So if you write another syntax, not C++ syntax, it will give you an error. So we don't have to tell the compiler what language we are dealing with it, because you should know which compiler you are going to use before you start your coding. So it doesn't talk about what is a language or input output. And there is nothing named a language for input output and a language for something else. So either your whole project is based on C++ or another language. To be honest, sometimes when you would go to advanced project, sometimes you will deal with different platforms. For example, if you are going to work with web programming, you will have different language you have to deal with it, client side and server side. And for each language, it has its own interrupter. You can deal it in the same project. However, sometimes you need a special, let's say, platform that can talk with all of them, like a JSON one. However, still that each code should have its own compiler or interrupter. And you can't have for the input output some code and for other piece of the code from the same file another code. So all of them should be the same code. And you have to choose the code or your syntax based on which high-level language plus the compiler compatible with it. So not language to use input and output. Where your program is located, sure not, because when you create a new solution, like in virtual, in any editor or IDE you use it, when you create your solution, you go ahead and say where you are going to save the files. So it's not like this. Where to get the definition of certain objects? This is the point. Okay, now a question will say, what is a namespace? Based on this discussion, what is a namespace? Okay, before I go, what is a namespace? We should know that whenever we are going to include a something or use a something, this is what we do it as the header of a file. So it seems that we are using a predefined functions or variable from another files. So your project, for example, you will have, let's say, a.cpp, which means that the file for your project or the main file. If you are going, there are still a predefined classes or files that you can use a function that are declared in it, like cmcout. Cmcout, they are a function, like the function that you declare it. However, they are being declared and defined in another place. When I said in another place, in another file or another class, later when you get maybe next semester we will have object-oriented course. I'm giving it also. So who's going to take the object-oriented course? We are going to discuss the OOP concept, object-oriented programming concept. For now, understand that we have this file is being declared in this function is being declared in another file. We have function X and your file name A. And this function X is being declared in file B. So if I want to use X, who is declared in B, how I have to do it? Either I will include, as I do, include IOStream, I have to include the name of this file. However, this group of files will be in the same package. So the package name is the namespace. And in order to access a function in a file in a special package, you have to go to tell the compiler which package you are dealing with this. This is why we name the namespace. So the namespace gives us the name of the package where the file is located, and this file has a function that we want to call. So we'll go tell this file here in this package. So we have to be within this package to access this file. And then you will include this file to call the function from this package. This is why if we don't use it in namespace, then we have to go to set std, which means that to use an object from this file to call this function, if we will not be in the same package in this case. Yes, it can be bunch of not only header files, it can be bunch of different files, you can say. Yes, it is a bunch or a package. Yes, it's like this. So it is can be seen as an ecosystem that includes different files in it. Yes, we can say this. I hope that I have clarified for you in a correct way. If you still have any question for this, go ahead and ask me now, because I want to be sure that you can understand the whole concepts about this. Okay, can I continue? Give me one thumbs up to continue. Perfect. So now the question said, if you need to write a function that will compute the cost of some candy, so it gives us a real case scenario. We want to write a function that this function will compute the cost of some candy, which each piece costs 25 cents. Which be appropriate function declaration, which is the appropriate way to declare this function. A, integer calculate cost, char name. B, char calculate, int calculate cost, int cost. First, C, it seems C, the syntax is incorrect. Yes, before we go to D. C, the syntax is incorrect because the syntax of a function, name of a function, parentheses that include either the argument. If there is no argument, we have to put the parentheses. And if there is a return type, you have to make a return type. So C, it cannot, because the syntax is incorrect. Let's go to B. We said that compute the cost. So the cost should be either integer or double. So it will return either integer or double. So B, it cannot be, because B return char. Okay, so we have A and D. So both of them, they have a correct syntax, name of a function, parentheses, take argument, return type. Perfect. And both of them return integer, so expected the cost will be integer. However, in order to calculate the cost of this candy, since he's talked about each one is 25, so I have to know the number of this candy. So the name has nothing to do with the name. So I have to go with D in this case, integer count. You see how I have already analyzed it in a way to go pick up the correct declaration in this way. So it is D. Let's go now to this one. What is the value returned by the following function? Integer function, it doesn't take any argument, it returns just integer. So integer value equals 35, return value plus 5, plus equal 10. Okay, so 40 and B. So Kura said 40 and Kerson B, so both of them 40. So return value plus 5, value equal plus 10. So is it correct? Yes, no. Yes. Why do you say yes? Can anyone tell me why? Yeah, it is yes, I agree. My question is, why yes? So what about this line? What about this line? Because this line, so is this value here equal plus 5, which means that 35 plus 5, 40. This line will also increase it by 10. So why you said it is 40, not 50? Okay. Now, this is one of the points that I want to discuss it with you, that your compiler will execute line by line your code, which means that it will set int value 35. This is the first line. It is the compiler will go sequential. Now I will tell you something maybe later, maybe not this year, next year we will see it. When you talk about multi-threading, what we do now in this programming, we talk about structured programming, which means that your code is sequential. Line by line, your compiler will execute this line, well, then will execute this line, then execute this line. In an advanced programming, we have something we name multi-threading. You can create different thread, which is different piece of code or different function, then you can call them in a parallel way. However, we are not talking about multi-threading here. We are talking about classical sequential coding, structured coding. So in this case, your compiler will go here, will add 35, 35, and then we'll make this return here. And then the return value for the function will be here. It will be, so even though it is executes this, but however, that this will not affect the return value of your function because it executed this before this. So in this case, it will be 40, as you said. I agree. So now, here, when we overloading a function, so overloading a function, what must be returned? True. A, the name should be different with the same number and types of parameter. The name should be the same with different number and of types of parameters. The name should be different with the same number. So Viraj said B, Kerson said B. What about you, Lisa? What do you say? B or not? You had B. Yes. So when we talk about overloading, which means that you define a function, suppose you have defined a function integer sum. It will take int A, int B, return A plus B. This is a first declaration. Overloading means that you can make another declaration for the sum function, said integer sum. It will take integer A, integer B, integer C, return A plus B plus C. And also, you will take, for example, integer sum, will take integer A, and you can maybe take another double value, and then you make some change the types within the function, and then return it as an integer at the end. So overloading means that you have to keep the same name you can change the name, because if you change the name, so it is not an overloading, it is a new function. If you said integer sum 2, so it is not integer sum. So the name should not be different. So in this case, it is a new function. It will be a new function. So we still have B and D. The name should be the same with different number types and parameter. The name should be the same with the same number and types. So if it is the same number and type, so it is not an overloading. So it's more, we can say it an overriding in this case, if you are going to change the syntax internally. So overloading means that still we can have different number of types and parameters. So it is B. Now the last one is called by reference parameter are parsed. Nothing, the actual argument, the value of the actual argument, the address of the argument. Again, called by reference, which means we're talking with pointers now. We have a pointer and we want to call by reference these pointers. So nothing, the actual argument, the value in the actual argument. So the address of the argument. So what will be in this case? D, Cora said D. What about the others? Lisa say B, Kerson said B. What about you, Viraj? What do you say? B. Viraj will be always our reference. So I believe, yes, this is B. Why it is B? Let's discuss it. So call by reference, which means that parameters are passed. So if we call by reference, the actual argument, the value in the argument, the address of the argument. Again, call by reference. Call by reference. So we are calling by reference. So in this case, we are not talking when we declare it. When we declare that it take a reference. However, later, I said, there is a difference between declaring a function or declaring a parameter and calling this function. So when you declare a function, you said this function, integer sum, will take pointer A, pointer B. Whenever later, when you call this function, you have to pass the value for this pointer in order to call to calculate whatever you want to do. So in this case, calling by reference means that we have to have the actual argument in this case. So B in this case, we can say it in this. Yes, we agree B. Now let's go to part 2. I want to discuss with you the solution in order to clarify that all of you can understand what's happening. So if you remember, question 1, we will discuss the solution, then we will go to make a group work, a new exercise between each of us. So question 1 tell us that if you remember that you have to take an array. I didn't tell you that you take any size of the array. So I don't make any, suppose that the array is 10 element. And I tell you that to tell me in this array who's the even, who's the odd. Whenever we talk about even and odd, we're talking about dividing by 2 if it has a remainder, yes, no. So dividing by 2 if it has a remainder, then it is even, not then it is odd. So the question was that you are going just here. I ask the user to enter the 10 values, I save them in the array, and then here I'll make a for loop, and then I will see each element in the array, if it can be divided by 2, then I have to make increment, decrement, and then I have to do it. So how again, as I always said, that when you start This is, it was a very naive question. It was an easy question because I do the assignment in a way that go from easy to more difficult till I get the bonus that need more intellectual thinking how to do it. So this is a very easy one. I don't ask you to make a function. However, as I said always, that whenever you have a piece of code that relating to a special concept, like here, returning number of even or odd, so you should get this code and put it in a function outside the main function, and then we call this function the main function. You should get accustomed to it. Again, get accustomed to it. So I will think about this. Okay, how I can this function, this array. I need an array. Okay, go ahead and define the array. What also I need as a variables, as a global variable, because this will be returned if I'm not talking about function. Number of even, number of odd. So I declared odd even in this case. And then here, just make this loop and do it. I think it is a very easy one. I think most of you should have already solved it. Have you solved it? You who are here, you have all solved it? Give me thumbs up. Who solved it in correct way? Perfect. Viraj, Cora, Lisa. Okay, perfect. Okay, let's go to question 2. In question 2, I ask you to use a function. So it's almost like the one if you get a number, well, I'm not talking about an array, and then I said create a function and to see if it is even or odd. So the main difference that you have to declare a function. As we said, we declare the function outside the main method. Here's a function. I name it is even. It take an integer as an input. This num here, it had the scope here because it is an argument for the function. So the function will return. So again, so here we said is even. I think here should be Boolean here. I should have to do it. It's better to do it here Boolean in this case, not integer. So is even, see how to enter the number. If it is true or false, which means in this case, so it will return, see how the number is false. So it's also easy one in this case. Have you all done this? He's a Viraj. What about you, Kirsten and Cora? Donnie, are you here? Cora, have you done this? I forgot to make a function for it. Okay. What about you, Cora? Perfect. Okay, the last one is about factorial. So it asks us to do factorial and said to use pointer. I think that I asked you to do pointers in this case when you can do it. So here, again, I have declare a function that this function will take. There is different solution for this. So me, I do it that it take an integer, the name that I do it, and it will return a pointer for the solution. So it doesn't return, it's going to save it. So I take two input. I will take an input, the variable and another reference. And then the variable, I will calculate the value for it. I will save it in the reference where as a second argument of the function. Maybe you will do it another way, that you will return the value of the factorial when you call it. So it's up to you. I do it in order just to clarify it in a better way. So this function factorial will take two arguments. It will take num, and it will take this factorial one. And here, easy, all factorial, how we will do it, fact times I. Again, do you remember how we deal with pointers? We have two operators we have to consider. The asterisk operator and also the AND operator we have to consider when we talk about it, about pointer. The asterisk, like here, tell us the value of the address this pointer point to, and here tell us the address of this one. So you should know these 2 pointers, and when we declare a 1, we declare using asterisk after the type. So asterisk, we will use it for the declaration of a pointer, and we also will use it to get the value in the pointer, and the and sign to get the reference or the address. Yeah, sure, you can have different code for this. Yeah, sure, you can have a different one for this. I said this is one of them. Yeah, if you don't use a function, it's okay, because the main concern was to use a pointer in this. However, there is more one solution for this, using pointers. So either you make, for example, here, this function, take 2 arguments or take 1 argument and return the value, other return value. Viraj said I use it. Viraj, this is one of the solutions. So if you want another solution, you want to share it with us now, you can do it. Go ahead. Do you want to share it now, or just to let others see another solution? Okay, I'll stop sharing. Go ahead and share yours in this case, before we'll go to the group exercise. Okay, Viraj, I will stop sharing. Now you can share your screen if you want.
This is my code for this
okay.
question.
Go ahead, discuss it with us. Tell us more about your solution.
Okay, so first I took 2 variables, x and factorial, and I took an pointer p, and it will reference the value of the x. So first I enter the value, and then star p, it means if x is greater than 0, then do this for while loop, and if x is less than 0 or equal to 0, then it will be error.
Yeah.
So for this, I first, if factorial is equal to 1, and then it will basically, if it is same like yours.
Yeah, because factorial, it is somehow from mathematical point of view, it will be the same in this case.
And then for this, it will star p minus is equal to 1. It will decrease 1 from the x. So for if I enter the value 5, then first it will, I think 5 it will,
I agree,
calculate.
but you don't believe, Viraj, that this piece of code concerning the factorial, you should put it in a function, and then you call the function the main method? All of you know why I always ask to create functions when you can. You know this? Why? What is the aim, Viraj, from doing functions and calling them the main method? If you have a big project, we don't talk about a simple task. If you have a real project, like why it's better to have a function and then you call the function the main method? Why?
It would be easier to manage the whole code.
Lisa, give us a very correct, accurate question answer. We can reuse it. So if they're the same function you want to use in different places, so you call the function again whenever you want to use it in this case, wherever you want to use it. Thank you so much, Viraj, about this. Thanks for sharing with us this. Okay, I will share again. There's still I will share my screen again. Okay, there's still the bonus question. Bonus question, because most of you some of you, I think there are 4 to 5 students have already solved this. What I will do the following. I will extend the bonus question for 2 days, which means that who didn't have time to do the bonus to be only 10 points. So I will make another, I will not say it assignment, I will say bonus question. I will make a special submission for this. From today, we are Tuesday till Friday. I want you to try this bonus. So on a Friday, I'll publish the solution for this. So who has already published the solution for the bonus question, no need to submit again. So I will make a special submission for the bonus question to give you more time, because I think that most of the student doesn't have time to do the bonus, so it's bonus. Still, it is bonus. I will not do it as an assignment, so it is a bonus one. So who didn't have time to practice a bonus question, just Viraj, can you make mute, please? Can you mute yourself? So I said that what I say that who doesn't have time to make the bonus? Yes. Yes, you can do it. Who want to try it again, he still can try it. I will make a special submission for the bonus. Then you can submit it in the Blackboard again. It will be not an assignment, it is a bonus question. So I will extend only the time for the bonus. Who will solve it 100% will get the plus 10 as mentioned in the assignment 2 in this case. So I will keep it for all of you. I need to motivate you to practice more. It is optional to give the solution in this case, not like the assignment. So this is why I'll make a special submission for the bonus question in this case. Okay, so I will not give you the solution now. I will keep it till Friday. Friday, I will publish the solution in this case. Okay, so let's practice like always a group work exercise. You can also get a bonus for this if you want. It is an easy one. It's not so it is somehow to what you have already done as an assignment. Write a C+ program to find 2 repeating elements in a given array of integer. So use pointer and function when you can. If you want, it's better to use it. If not, write it without it. So the question is, write a C++ program to find the 2 repeating element in a given array. Suppose you have an array 10 element. Take it an array 10. And you ask the user to put 10 element. And then if it is a repeating, if there's 2 repeating element, just 2 repeating. If the user put 2, 2, 3, 3, then tell me what is the repeating element. It is 2. If not, there is no repeating in this case. I'm talking also just 2 repeating. So whenever there's at least 2 repeating, tell me that 2 or 3, whatever the number. The user entered 10, 10, so it is a repeating. So it said me 10. It is a repeating element. Are you okay to do this group work exercise? Give me 2 thumbs up to go to the yes, Viraj. Cora. What about Kerson and Lisa? Are you excited to do it? With the others? Okay, perfect. Like always, we will go now to the, we break down to 2 rooms. Let me do it. I stop recording also.